Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Ethan, this is Carberra. Welcome to the series where I teach you how to code in Python. Today we are talking about accepting input from the user, and as you can see the screen looks a little bit different. We're not in interactive mode, we're actually going to be scripting some of this because it's kind of awkward to demonstrate in interactive mode. So while the script isn't going to be amazing or anything, it's just easy to do it like this because of the way that program flows work. So I'm using Sublime Text as my IDE. I did talk about IDEs in my introduction video, so if you're not sure how to open idle or how to get a specific IDE, then make sure to look at that video. I have a card in the top right. If I remember, if not, then do let me know in the comments, because I did talk about it all there. However, open your IDE of choice. You can use idle, you can use Sublime, you can use Visual Studio Code, you can use whatever you want, and save your file as a .py file. You can call it whatever you want. I just called it by the episode name, but you don't have to do that. So when it comes to actually accepting input, Python has a very handy function called input, spelled correctly, of course. Now this function will literally just wait for a user's input. What you can do is you can actually specify something in here. So say, please input a number. I'm going to run this in the terminal, but you can run this however you want. So I'm going to quickly cd to my programs, Carberra plans, and then how to Python, and it should be in here. There it is, yeah. So if I do py5.acceptinginput.py, see we get please input a number. I'm actually going to make this a bit bigger again. You input 5, and then the program just ends because it doesn't do anything about it. However, we can set this input as a variable, so num, for example, equals 5, and then we can print num. And then when we run the program, we have 5, and it prints 5. If we run the program again and we print 89, it prints 89. Fantastic, we're taking user input. However, it's still a string type. Like if we do print type num, for example, save that, run that, 89 or 96, you can see that it's a class string. It's not a number. What's going on there? How do we make it a number? Well, we can take all this and we can convert it to an int like this. So we could do an int input, please input a number. And now, if I save that and run that, if I do 96 again, we can see class int, and now it's actually a number. And if we input something that isn't correct, so say 1, for example, we'll get an error, but we'll talk more about errors in a future video. But for now, yeah, just if you pass in this, it has to be a number. If you do want to take strings, for example, you wouldn't need to do that because this just has a string, so you just have the input there. There's honestly not a lot else to talk about inputs, to be honest, because they are pretty simple and straightforward. The one thing you do need to know is that it will wait for an input, so it won't actually advance until you do it. You can just give it nothing at all, so you can just hit enter and do all that fun stuff. We're not going to do any sort of input validation at the moment, because that comes with if statements and stuff, which we're doing in a later video. But yeah, that is a particularly short video about how to take user inputs. If you have any questions about this input mechanic, then feel free to leave a comment down below, or you can join the Discord server using the link in the description. While you're down there, I would recommend that you check out all my socials. So I have a Twitter, Facebook library, and I have my new Twitch account, of course, that you can follow me on down there as well, should you wish to. But that's going to bring me to the end of the video. If you liked it, then say hello down below. If you really like to, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads. And if you really like to, consider supporting me on Patreon. Of course, you know how to be a really cool thing if you do. With that in mind, I'd like to thank my amazing patrons for their support. And I will see you next time, where we test your knowledge for the first time with a little checkpoint, just to make sure that you understand everything. But I'll have more information about that in that actual video. So I'll see you for that.